Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, top in the description box below, top link, very top link description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. And then finally, just underneath that, just a little, right underneath it, there's another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group down there 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about some. Is that next? Yeah, after this. After our Cedric Jones. Mr. Cedric Jones here. Mr. Jones. But talking about some key dates, right? How about that combine? I mean, that's what it's beautiful. It's because you got obviously December, you got the football, and you got the playoffs in January, then you got in February, you got the Super Bowl, and you got the combine, and then 2 weeks, about a little about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Free agency. Holy cow. How crazy is that? Right. Then, of course, the following month after that, then you got the draft, right? In between all of that, you got pro days and all. Oh, man, it's just, and then, of course, after that, then you have rookie mini camps, and then, it's the only time, really, it's like about a month or so, right? And during the season, not in the season, I'm sorry, it's like between June, 4 weeks, 5 weeks from like June 10th to July 17th or whatever it is, somewhere around there, where it's like, everybody like just disappears. They go on vacations and whatever, right? But there's always something like going on. And of course, when everybody comes back in July, that's when the training camps start. And then a couple weeks after that, you got the Hall of Fame game, the preseason games, and off and running once again, guys. So it's almost always something to look forward to. It's kind of like a little bit, if you're like a little bit like Hanukkah, shall I say? The 8 crazy nights on. Every night there's something going on. And same thing in the pros. 11 out of the 12 months pretty much is something going on. It's absolutely fantastic. But the one thing I wanted to bring, you can even, to some certain degree, I guess, if you want to go back and look at the 2019 draft as well, too. Gettleman, of course, he said when need meets, the player, where they're ranked at and all. Oh, we got this guy, Daniel Jones. He's like our 6th ranked guy on the board. And look, we're picking 6th, and he's the 6th ranked. We need a quarterback, so it just kind of married up. So it was absolutely perfect, So you can go back and talk all you want, obviously, about the 2019 draft, the Daniel Jones and all that and everything. Now, whether he would have been there at number 17, of course, then we wouldn't have had Sexy Dexy. So there is that to think about, too, right? But the one, and I certainly, I guess I don't want to say recent memory, because we're going back to 1996, so we're going back almost 30 years ago, but the one that just kind of always sticks in my mind now is the Cedric Jones, the dreaded 1996 overall, when the Giants picked number 5 overall, right? And it just seemed like, I think it might have been George Young's last draft. Now, we did get Amani Toomer in the second round, so it did, worked out okay there. But I'm not sure, when George Young, decided to take Cedric Jones with the number 5 overall pick. I mean, because there were some Hall of Famers after him. I mean, I'm not sure, because if we look at the 1996 draft here, right? It was a good draft. Good draft. Keyshawn Johnson got taken number 1 overall by the Jets. Can't blame him for that. Then you got Kevin Hardy, got taken by Jacksonville. And then, of course, the big one was Simeon Rice. Now Simeon was all about what he had 122 career sacks. Now Simeon was good. He was taken number 3 overall, and then Jonathan by Arizona, and then Jonathan Ogden was taken by Baltimore, the tackle, Hall of Famer, right? By Baltimore. And obviously, of course, Baltimore took 2 Hall of Famers in that first round of their first draft. They got Ray Lewis, number 26 overall, so the Giants could have Ray Lewis as well, too. But the thing was with Simeon Rice was, obviously, I said he had 122 career sacks. His thing was, he wasn't much like, he was like, I want me some sacks, right? I'm not going to give you too much as far as maybe stopping the run, really. That's not sexy. Right? I'll get you some sacks. Now, I guess kind of like what I guess maybe with Georgia, Simeon Rice got taken. I'm sure he might have been the number 1 guy that because they were trying to pair somebody up maybe with Michael, right? And that would have been pretty fierce, right? Not that you wouldn't have had the greatest run defensive end, run stopping defense, but I mean between the 2 of them, right? I mean, if you got Michael on one side here and you got Simeon Rice on the other side there rushing the quarterback, you're going to get, that's pretty impressive, right? But when he got taken, right, you're not sure, exactly what was going on with George Young, what was going on in his mind and all of that and everything. If it's kind of more or less kind of like, I'll show you. I'm still going to take a defensive, and I mean, whether he's there or not, I mean, whether he deserves to be the number 5 overall pick or not, I'm taking me a defensive end. So I'll show you. Yeah. I mean, the guy played 5 seasons, 1996 to 2000, the 2000 Super Bowl, right, when we lost 442,000-7 against the Ravens. That was his last game with the Giants. He tried out in 2001 with the Rams, but never made the team. So actually, that Super Bowl was his last NFL game. Now, a bit odd, because that was pretty much like his best season. He had 7.5 sacks. His last season, he had 15.5 for his career. So we drafted this guy. He played 5 seasons in the NFL. We drafted number 5 overall. He had 15.5 sacks in 5 seasons. He averaged 3 sacks a season. So it was, a reach. The biggest thing was, which kind of makes you, shake your head, kind of like now, or even back then, was he had a problem with one of his eyes. Okay. Now apparently, I guess George Young, whatever they did, they apparently they found out about it, and they felt it was going to be okay. Everything was going to be fine. But apparently he can only rush from one side. I think it was from the right side. If you're looking at the defensive right, the defense right. Michael on the left. If you're standing behind the defensive line, Michael on the left. Cedric Jones would be on the right, facing the offense, right? That was the only way, the only side that Cedric Jones could rush from. He had to come in from the one side. But as I said, apparently George Young I had that checked out and everything, and apparently everything passed. But I mean, he didn't see any problem with it. But let's see. So we got a couple things here on Cedric Jones. New sporting news: Cedric Jones, the worst draft pick in Giants history. I wouldn't say so much the worst, but I guess you can also say maybe where he was drafted at, number 5. Every NFL team goes through hardship draft picks that don't pan out due to injury, character issues, or even sometimes lack of developing talent. With that in mind, Sporting News released their list of the worst draft picks for each team throughout history earlier this week. Now, this article is several years old. Oh, 2017, so it's quite a few years old. All right. Oh, there we go. Let's see. For the Giants, it was defensive end Cedric Jones who got the nod. Giants drafted Jones 5th overall in the 1996 NFL Draft out of the University of Oklahoma. And as it turned out, 9 of the first 15 picks ended up being Pro Bowlers. It wasn't a bad draft. 9 of the first 15 picks. So let's see here. What do we got now? All right. So we have Keyshawn Johnson, Kevin Hardy, Simeon Rice, Jonathan Ogden, Cedric Jones. Then, of course, then the Rams wound up taking Lawrence Phillips, Terry Glenn, Tim Biakabatuka from Carolina, the running back, Ricky Dudley, tight end for Oakland, Willie Anderson, the tackle from Cincinnati, Alex Molden, a defensive back from Nolans, Reagan Upshaw, defensive end, Walt Harris, a defensive back, Eddie George, and John Mobley, linebacker. So there was also Eddie Kennison got taken with the 18th overall pick. Some guy by the name of Marvin Harrison got taken by the 19th pick overall. Of course, then you have Ray Lewis got taken 26th overall. Could you imagine Ray Lewis on this team, the Giants team? So, I mean, there was some really, obviously the Giants wound up getting Amani Toomer in the second round. So, it wasn't absolutely, there was a lot of good. Mike Allstock got taken in the second round. Lawyer Malloy got taken in the second round. Let's see. Anybody? Oh, Gerard Cherry got taken in the second round. Mushin Muhammad, the wide receiver, got taken in the second round. Let's see. Bobby Ingram. Brian Dawkins got taken with the last pick in the second round, Hall of Famer. So there were some guys out there. So there was some really good picks, really good players out there. But fortunately, the Giants wound up taking, and obviously after that, the Rams taking Lawrence Phillips as well too. But let's see. It's easy to look back now and imagine the lethal duo that Strahan and Jones could have been. As I said, I do believe that George Young wanted Simeon Rice. He got taken 2 spots in front. As I said, can you imagine Rice and Michael Strahan, those 2 guys, 2 defensive ends? Whew. You would have got yourself some sacks, I can tell you that much. But with the duo that Strahan and Jones could have been, but unfortunately for all involved, Jones just didn't pan out as he recorded only 15 sacks, 107 tackles in his 5 years with the Giants. Although Jones' time with the Giants was somewhat short-lived, he did play in the Super Bowl against the Ravens. And although it ended poorly, 2000 turned out to be Jones' best year as he recorded 43 tackles and was second on the team with 7.5 sacks. After the 2000 season, he signed with the then St. Louis Rams, but never played it down for them due to an injury he was sustained prior to the season. The 1996 NFL draft wasn't all bad for the Giants as they took wide receiver Monty Toomer in the second round. Unlike Jones, Toomer went on to be very productive during his years with Big Blue. In fact, Toomer remains the franchise all-time receiving leader. The younger fans have surely seen a lot of success in the Giants' more recent draft classes. Obviously, they've landed. They're talking about players that they've landed. Let's see here. There's another one here too. This one. All right. New York Giants draft bust number 6, Cedric Jones. They have a list, but you want the poster child for why you don't go strictly for need. Ding, 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 ding. In the first round of the NFL draft. Now, once again, what do the Giants need? Quarterback. Where are they picking number 3? You can't reach. That guy's got to be worthy of the number 3 overall pick. Now, I mean, once again, to be fair, if the Giants have, so and so, if they got Shedeur Sanders ranked number 5 overall, and they're picking number 3 and Shedeur's there, the thing, what you can't do is have, Shedeur Sanders ranked like, say, 28th, Cam Ward ranked like number 17 or 18 or something like that. That's a reach. That's something they can't do. Absolutely can't do. If you study the draft and know Giants history at all, you should know Jones's story. The Giants watched defensive end Simeon Rice, went number 3 overall, and offensive tackle Jonathan Ogden, who went 4th overall, come off the board in the 2 previous picks to theirs. Giants brass had its heart set on Rice, apparently, and felt a pass rushing defensive end was what it had to have. I'll show you. Yeah, you take Simeon Rice, I'll show you. I'm going to take somebody else. I'm going to take another defensive end. I'll show you. Even if it's a reach, I don't care. Even if the guy isn't worthy of a 3rd round pick, I don't care. I'm taking me a defensive end. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, yeah. Giants brass had its heart set on Rice, apparently, and felt a pass rushing defensive end was what it had to have. So Jones was chosen as the consolation prize. It did not pan out. Jones turned out to have vision problems that limited him to playing only on the right side. So once again, if you're on the defensive line, right, you're looking at the offense, you got Michaels on the left, right, and Jones would be on the right. And that's the only place that Jones could play because of his vision problems on the right-hand side. Not really somebody you want to take with the 5th overall pick in the draft. He had a hamstring injury and as well as rookie season. He did not become a starter until his 4th season as a Giant and was out of the NFL after 5 seasons. He did compile 15 sacks his final 3 seasons, but he was never a real impact. Now, it says the list of players drafted in the 1st round who the Giants passed on to take Jones really makes you shake your head. Terry Glenn got taken 7th overall, the wide receiver from New England. In a 12-year career, Glenn caught 593 passes. Eddie George, he was picked 14th overall, running back, obviously 4-time Pro Bowler, more than 10,000 yards rushing in his career. I mean, I'll tell you what, that would have been a nice duo. Eddie George and Tiki Barber. Whoo, that would have been nice. We wouldn't have drafted Ron Dane in the 2000 draft. Wouldn't have been no Thunder and Lightning. We would have had Eddie George and Tiki Barber. That would have been a real nice duo. Marvin Harrison taken 19th overall. 8-time Pro Bowler, had 1,102 receptions in his career. Obviously, if you put him on any team and I was the quarterback, he's not having 1,100 receptions. It did help that he had Peyton Manning throwing the ball. So Ray Lewis, some guy by the name of Ray Lewis, right? He was taken 26th overall. 12-time Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, still playing. Well, he's not playing anymore now. This article's old. So I mean, you can't reach. You got to, as I said once again, right? If the Giants on their draft board, they got Cam Ward picked is the fifth best player and Shador is the sixth best player or something. Yeah, that's not like a reach. Plus, they'll never tell you. Well, they ain't never going to tell you. I mean, Shane ain't going to say, no, we took Cam Ward. Number 3 overall. He was number 3 on our board. How did that work out, huh? Pretty cool, huh? Yep, nope, number 3. Nope, yep, that's what he was now. He might have been number, whatever. He could have been number 4 or number 5 or something. They're not going to tell you. Well, we had him number 5, but we needed a quarter, so we didn't. They're not going to tell you that. Never going to tell you that. I mean, so. But I said, what they can't do, I mean, they got to get all their information, and we need a quarterback, this, that, and the other thing. But, if you got, you got whatever, X amount of guys, in front of them, that's a reach. Now, the thing is that, the Giants could, obviously, they know pretty much a lot of the guys are going to get taken in the first round, right? So, but I mean, it's like they could put if they like Cam and they got Shador, well, they could put like a couple other guys maybe in front of them. Like, well, if Hunter gets taken and Carter gets taken, then we'll take this guy, something like that. They're not going to, they may not wind up putting up, obviously, a whole bunch of guys that might get taken in the first round because, once the Giants pick number 3, all those other guys possibly that they have ranked in the first round might all be gone by the time they want to take it in the picking in the second round. So, but I said the one thing the New York Giants cannot do, and I said that's what I do with that Cedric Jones kind of thing. They can't reach, and apparently that's what it seemed like. What happened was that the Giants wanted an edge rusher or an edge / defensive end, which I goes. More like what what it was back then, right? So in 1996, it's like, oh yeah, you take Simeon. Well, don't matter to us. We're taking ourselves a defensive end, whether he's worthy of the number 5 pick or not. We'll show you. So they reached. Guy had vision problems, can only rush from the one side. Played 5 seasons, couldn't even start the first couple seasons. I mean. You take somebody number 5 overall, that mofo better be in there lock, stock, and barrel day 1 as a starter, unless he's got injured. I mean, like what happened with Odell Beckham Jr.? He had some hamstring issues. He missed the first 4 games of the season. It's kind of like, when is this guy ever going to play? He finally got in there and he showed us why they took him. Right? Right? Great pick. But, you pick somebody, number 5 overall, that guy better be starting from day 1. Yeah, I mean, and they took Cedric Jones, and he wasn't even a starter. Now, let's see what I've got. Let's see, what did he do? Let's see, Cedric Jones. Here we go. Okay, his first year. Oh, yeah, I mean, his first 3 years, he didn't even start. He didn't start to his last 2 seasons. Although, his last 2 seasons, he had a grand total of 11 sacks. But his first season, he played in 16 games, didn't start 1. Then he must have had some injury issues in 1997. He played in 9 games, started 2. 1998, played in all 16 games, only started 1. So his first pick number 5 in the draft. The guy played in his first 3 seasons, only started 3 games. I mean, that's absolutely ungodly, unacceptable. The Giants can't do that. Absolutely can't do that. Whoever they draft, I mean, unless it's if it's Cam, right? And they bring in, I don't know, just saying Justin Fields, somebody like that, right? You got Justin Fields, might be the Kurt Warner, Eli Manning kind of thing. Might be the Justin Fields Ward kind of thing, right? With Justin Fields out there, first 4, 5, 6, 7 games or whatever like that, right? And then we'll slide Cam in there, right? Right, let him ride out the rest of the season. Right, see what he does. So I'll have to wait and see. But I said unless it's a quarterback, I said if you're taking anybody else with pick number 3 in the NFL draft, they better be lock, stock, and barrel a starter from day one. We'll keep them on. No, you ain't keeping nobody on the bench. Right? All right. So now we got some key dates here. This is not like the like the regular season. Week 1 you got game 1, week 2 you got game 2, week 3 you got anything like that. This is a lot of little things going on. A lot of little things. A lot of key dates, right? From now until what was it? About the middle of June. A lot of little key dates kind of going on here. So let me read these up here. Is this it? All right. Key dates to mark on your calendar. Okay, here we go. All right, so the Super Bowl and the 2024 NFL season is over. Thank God. And fans are jonesing for the next phase in a never-ending story that the NFL has become, which you gotta like. Really gotta like. Do not fear. There's plenty on the horizon to hold your interest, and that's why I love that. I mean, obviously they're doing it on purpose, of course. But hey, you gotta love it. It's always keeping your interest. Always giving you something, right? Always giving you something. So next weekend, the NFL Scouting Combine will be held at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Okay, the schedule is as follows: Thursday, the 27th, defensive linemen and linebackers. Friday, February 28th, the defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, March 1st, quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. Now, of course, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. And then Sunday, March 2nd, will be the offensive linemen. Now, of course, you always have to wind up saying, waiting and seeing and all this. No, I'll go to the combine. I'm just going to weigh myself. That's it. I'm not going to throw balls. I'm not catching balls. I ain't running no 40. That might cost me some money. I'm not benching, or I'm not doing this. I'm not. So I have to wait and see. But there are some guys that will actually show up and actually perform. Right. The one thing I do like and I admire about the guys who come to the combine, and show up and all of that and everything. The one thing it's a word. It's called adversity. Right. It's, what are you going to do? You're in unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar this, that. How are you going to perform? Right. And I can understand. Right. Like, anybody, quarterbacks or wide receivers, wide receiver, wants to have his own pro day. If he's supposed to go in the top 5 or something like that, I want a quarterback I'm familiar with. I want familiar surroundings. I want to be on my turf, my stadium, my coach calling the plays, passes coming from my quarterback. I'm familiar, right? But it said you got to give the guys a lot of credit, who just coming in, and doing what they can, whatever the circumstances are. Because once again, it's called adversity. Right. And, check it out. Right. But, things aren't always sunshine and roses when you're playing football. Right. It's not like, you can't have every day is not a pro day when you're playing in the NFL. Right. So there's always going to be some adversity. So I give a lot of credit to a lot of the guys that actually show up and just go out and ball out in the combine. Right, they do all the drills and everything like that. And they try to do as best they can. Right, give those guys a lot of credit. So the Giants will particularly be interested in Friday's session as they are heavily in the market for a quarterback this offseason. Now, once again, right, I'll have to wait and see. Who's throwing? Is Shador going to throw there? Is Ward going to throw there? Is Jackson Dart going to throw there? That would be interesting, right? So if the Giants aren't high on one of those guys, we're going to, Jalen Milroe, Dart, one of those other guys, right? The day after the combine on March 4th, March 4th, but that would be 2 days after the combine. The deadline for clubs to designate franchise or transition players expires at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time. Giants are not expected to use either tag this season. I mean, they had, some things were kind of floating around, like, did they think that maybe they might, which I don't think, as far as maybe tagging Darius Slayton, no. So this year looks like will be franchise tag free for the New York Giants. The league new year begins at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, on Wednesday, March 12th, which also is the salary cap, which will be set, and all teams will be required to be under the number, which has not been formalized yet. This week, the NFL announced the cap will be somewhere between $277.5 and $281 million. So, nice bump up from the year before. Giants are expected to have approximately $53 million in available cap space to use on free agent deals and current player contract extensions. The legal tampering period begins on Monday, March 10th at noon. So we got what? Soon to be the 24th, so 24 to 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 5. So about 15 days, right? While the legal tampering, like I said, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, like 2 weeks while the legal tampering. Guys can't sign contracts with their new team until that Wednesday, March 12th, but the legal tampering on the March 10th. So we can start. Clubs are permitted to contact and enter into contract negotiations with the certified agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents upon the expiration of their 2024 player contracts at 4 p.m. New York time on March 12th. So expect Giants general manager Joe Shane to be very active once again in the free agent market. Giants will be seeking help at quarterback, cornerback, interior defensive line, and even wide receiver. What's up, buddy? Come on, Bill. More key dates. Then we have toward the end of March 30th to April 2nd, annual league meeting, Palm Beach, Florida. Rule changes and other major issues will be discussed. April 16th, deadline for clubs to time, test, visit, interview, or conduct a physical examination with a draft-eligible player at its club facility. April 21st, off-season workout program can begin for teams with returning head coaches. April 23rd, deadline for clubs to time, test, visit, interview, including video and phone calls, or conduct a physical examination with a draft-eligible player at any location. And then, of course, April 24th to the 26th is the NFL draft, which this year will be Lambeau Field. Well, no, I don't know that, but it's going to be in Green Bay. So they're going around the circuit, and this year it's going to be in Green Bay. I'm sure they'll do a phenomenal job. People out there in Wisconsin are absolutely fantastic, fantastic people. The NFL will announce the awarding of compensatory draft picks sometime during the first week of March. So maybe not this week, but by maybe next weekend. If not next weekend, that following week, we'll find out. Hopefully, the Giants supposed to, I think, have a. Nobody, all right, pal? Supposed to get a fourth round, hopefully compensatory pick. So that'd be fantastic. The Giants could be active in the trade market. A rumored deal for a veteran starting quarterback could become a reality. So we're going to be talking about one of those in just a moment. Well, actually, we're going to be talking about two of those coming up. Just a few moments here. Giants will also look to trim the fat on their own roster, restructuring contracts where they can, and perhaps even letting some players go. Giants have until May 1st to exercise the fifth-year option on two of their 2022 first-round picks, Kayvon and Evan Neal. They are expected to pick up Thibodeau's option, and I would be shocked if they picked up Neal's option. Shocked, but Kayvon, yes, absolutely. Neal's, no. I mean, Is it the Giants coaching who just can't? I mean, if we pick Neil up and put him on the Philadelphia Eagles, he'd probably be a guard. He might be an all-pro guard because they have great coaching. So who knows? But the Giants, if they let Kayvon go, I mean, has he been as unbelievably amazing as we would kind of hope? No, but has he been decent enough? Oh yeah. I mean, if they let him go, I mean, they'd just be stone cold crazy, I'll tell you. So look for them to pick up Kayvon's fifth-year option. Plus, like that, I mean, they'll be saving themselves some money for the fifth year. Right? All right, so this is kind of like the Giants way. I mean, it happens with every team. Right? It happens with every team. But, you got Davis Webb, right? And, if you look real fast, at this picture, just like take a fast look at it real fast. Number 12, you look fast, you turn away. Right? It's like, hey, was that Aaron Rodgers? No, that's Davis Webb. But, the Giants way, let somebody who you got, under contract or you have control of or whatever, something like that, just let him go. And let him go someplace else. And he does very well. Very, very well. I mean, now, he wasn't under contract so much as a coach, but Giants had him, right? He had that one very, very good game, where we put our 312 string players in there, 2022 against the Eagles. The Eagles had to win that game, and the Eagles wound up winning. But Webb completed the pass to Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay's only touchdown is of course, is $500 trillion to get Kenny Galladay in here. And Kenny Galladay wound up with one touchdown reception and wound up coming from Davis Webb. Right? So, but we had him. He was a Giant, right? And he wanted to retire to go coach. And I mean, what we didn't maybe want to keep him. I mean, what was I don't know. Yeah, it's always hindsight. It's always 2020. Why did we let him go? He's so good. Oh, maybe we didn't know. Obviously. But I mean, he's starting off on the bottom rung of the totem pole. The guy can't cost you a lot of money. I mean, but he did pretty well for himself. Let me tell you what. There we go. Right. Former Giants quarterback earns spot on a prestigious NFL list. Former Giants quarterback Davis Webb is a rising coaching star in the NFL. Right. And he's a coaching star for guess what position? It's not punter, I can tell you that much, right? And something that would as of right now would really behoove the Giants if they had a real stud of a quarterback coach or a quarterback. Well, he's working doing his work with Denver, right? But I mean. Once again, he's starting off on the bottom rung of the, and working, obviously going to be working his way up. And that can't cost you a lot of money. It's a shame when I'm letting him go. Former Giants quarterback Davis Webb is quickly becoming one of the league's rising coaching stars. Right? And you can, now, coaching, or has he got an offensive mind kind of star or something like that? I mean, because, the Giants could, if Kafka ever winds up going bye-bye, Davis Webb is, got some good stuff going on up there offensive mind-wise. Right? But anyway, because of that, he was named the Athletics NFL 50 under 40 list, which consists of the movers and shakers within the NFL's ecosystem. Webb, who's only 30 years old, came in at number 24 on the list, lauded for his work as the Broncos quarterback coach, where he's been for the last 2 seasons and worked with rookie Bo Nix last year. I mean, Bo Nix, tell you what, boy. Yeah. Giants could, we got ourselves an absolute grand slam by taking Malik Neighbors, but in a season all about the development of high-profile rookie quarterbacks, Bo Nix's steady growth in Denver wasn't just a product of Sean Payton's scheme. The article, written via the Broncos website, noted, with guidance from Webb, Nix finished with the most passing yards, 3,775 yards, and touchdowns, 29 by a rookie this past season. Nix also completed 66.3% of his passes and threw just 12 interceptions. That was what Daniel Jones threw his rookie season. He had 24 and 12. Well, Bo Nix was 29 and 12. But then again, Daniel Jones only started 12 games his rookie season. So the rookie also led the Broncos to a 10-7 record and a playoff appearance. So, I mean, for the most part, it really looks like, good for the Broncos. Looks like they got themselves the quarterback, right? I mean, you figure you got Nix, right? Obviously Patrick Mahomes, right? Sandy, the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, my bad, right? They got their quarterback. I guess, the Raiders will be looking for their quarterback, but they got some young players, young studs there at the quarterback position in that division. Webb began his career as a third-round selection, number 87 overall by the Giants in the 2017 NFL Draft out of California. He was seen as the presumed successor to Eli Manning once he retired. However, Webb never received the opportunity. When Manning was infamously benched in 2018, ending his Iron Man streak of playing in 210 consecutive games. Way to go, McAdoo, you idiot. Giants named Geno Smith as the starter instead of Webb. The then rookie was supposed to see action in the final games of the season. Webb was released the final preseason after New York selected Kyle Lauletta, another developmental quarterback, in the fourth round of the 2018 NFL Draft. But once again, one of these things could have been, right? As we know, it winds up happening a lot, right? The new regime comes in, they look at the roster, it's like, hey, Davis Webb. Yeah? Hey, my backup quarterback. Bye-bye, right? Because you had in 2017, right? Webb, right? Eli, right? With Geno Smith, but of course you had Ben the douche McAdoo, right? So 2017, he didn't even finish it that season, right? So we drafted Webb, right? And, also to give the dude some credit, he did want Patrick Mahomes, but Giants didn't want to trade up that far. Anyway, but, McAdoo didn't even finish the 2017 season, right? So Webb's on the roster. Here comes 2018. What happens? In comes 2018. In comes a new coach. In comes a new, right? Yeah. Obviously, right. A new coach and a new GM. And had the guy for 1 year. Third round pick. 1 year. Bye-bye. You're not our backup quarterback. We didn't draft you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Then they bring in what? Kyle Lauletta. There you go, right? How well did he do for the Giants, huh? That's one of the things that kind of bounces you back to that old story, keep changing coaches and GMs and all that, and you're trying to find, right? It's so you just keep churning the roster over. Everything just keeps getting turned, it's makes it very, very difficult. Let's see here. So they drafted Lauletta in the fourth round of the 2018 draft. But, I mean, obviously, that was with Gettleman and Shermer. After spending 2 seasons shuffling between the New York Jets and Buffalo Bills' active roster and practice squad, appearing in relief in 1 game for the Bills, he would rejoin the Giants in the 2022 season, his final season in the NFL. Webb's knowledge of head coach Brian Dable's offensive system served him well. Yes, it did, allowing him to mentor the other Giant quarterbacks and receivers. Once the Giants clinched a playoff berth, they started Webb against the Philadelphia Eagles in the season finale. In his first and only career start, after 5 years after being drafted, a 28-year-old threw for 168 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, while completing 57.5% of his attempts in a 22-16 loss. But we had all backups in there, too. The Eagles had their starters. We had our backups in there. Webb's contract expired after the season. Not many teams were interested in his services, so he changed his career path and was hired by the Broncos head coach Sean Payton. He has endured success with the Broncos. Webb is fast becoming a hot commodity in the league and reportedly drew interest in the Saints' head coaching vacancy. Damn! That ultimately went to the Eagles' offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. So, now Kellen Moore, obviously done a very good job. What's up, Vinny G-Man? What's going on, brother? Kellen Moore did a very good, but Kellen Moore also had a phenomenal, team to play with too, right? The Broncos had a good team, but wasn't as good as what the Eagles had. So anyway, but it's just a shame. Once again, it happens with every team. It's not just the Giants. It only happens with the Giants. Happens with every team. Hindsight's always 20/20. If Davis Webb's doing good, why did we keep the guy? We've had other guys on the roster that probably have gone elsewhere and haven't done that well. But it's just such a shame, especially because Webb, being familiar, right, with the Giants' offense, right? He played in the game, right? He's starting off maybe on the bottom rung or something like that, right? Keep him around. Right, if he wants to be a coach, why did you let him? I don't know. You couldn't have found someplace for him to be. It is what it is. But I wish the guy nothing but the best. Good for him. All right, next. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. Man, this is just, I don't know. Is it just that the story that just ain't gonna die until. Whoops. Right, until he puts an ink pen to paper somewhere, right? And just apparently he's been given a green light to seek a trade. Apparently, anyway, we'll have to wait and see, right? Now, of course, we're listening to. Adam Schefter. Hey, I'm Adam Schefter. I'm Shefty, right? There's no way, obviously, and it can't possibly, right, trade the number. If anything were to come up, that's not happening, right? You read things like the Rams want a first-round pick for him. Of course, then I saw other articles the Giants might give up a second-round pick and maybe a third-round pick. So who knows? But of course, once again, the team, the Rams, right? That might want a first-round pick, but what you wind up getting might want to be two different things. So, but let's see. The Giants, right? The quarterback question looms as Rams give Matthew Stafford a green light to talk with other teams. And of course, there's only so many, teams that are going to want to be interested in the service, but obviously we know the Giants will be one of them. The Giants truly want to pursue a trade for Matthew Stafford. The Rams just made it easier for interested teams to find out what it might take to land a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The Rams have granted Stafford and his agent permission to speak with other teams about his value, NFL Network reported. 37-year-old Stafford has not formally requested a trade, but the two-time Pro Bowler wants to secure a new contract, and this move will enable the Rams and Stafford an opportunity to gain a better understanding of his worth, the report stated. Stafford is set to hold a salary cap figure of $49.6 million for 2025, but the Rams can save $27 million if they trade him after June 1st, and $23 million if they cut him after that date. And if they cut him after that date, right, can save 27 if they trade him after June 1st, and $23 million if they cut him after that. Oh, all right. So they can save him money if they trade him, or they can save money if they cut him, but they'll have to wait and see. The Giants retained both general manager Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Let's see here. They have no quarterbacks under contract the next season. With Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito headed for free agency now, but Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan is a exclusive rights, I believe it is, free agent. Like if the Giants were to tender him an offer, he has to accept it. And I think the Giants would be just stone cold crazy if they don't tender him some type of role. Maybe make him the third string quarterback. Guy's familiar with the offense, right? I think it'd be crazy if they didn't bring him back. Let's see. Giants own the number 3 overall pick in the draft, but that might not be able to secure. They might not be able to secure either of the top 2 rated quarterbacks. Once again, now that's one of the things we're going to have to find out. Right? Where are the quarterbacks going to go? Moving on from Stafford also could free up the Rams to sign 4. I mean, this is weird because it's like, the Jets let Aaron Rodgers go. I mean, he really didn't, have a super spectacular season with the Jets, and now reading and all this stuff is whatever. However true it is, who knows? But Aaron Rodgers is kind of like linked with the Rams. It's like so they're going to trade away Matthew Stafford, who's 4 years younger, I guess, to get probably an older Aaron Rodgers, who is not the same Aaron Rodgers as he was, 5-10 years ago. And he's going to want some money too, right? Let's see. 4-time league MVP, threw for 3,897 yards with 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions in 17 starts in his first season back from his 2023 Achilles surgery. But the Jets finished just 5-12 and missed the playoffs for the 14th consecutive year. Stafford played the first 12 games of his 16-year NFL career with the Lions, first 12 seasons, of his 16-year NFL career with the Lions before being traded to Los Angeles. Stafford started 16 games for the Rams in 2024, throwing for 3,762 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and a passer rating of 93.7. We got here, let's see. Oh, here we go, yeah. Giants struggles reveal their standing among Matthew Stafford trade suitors. Giants may want Matthew Stafford the most, but other teams will come calling, potentially more ammo and talent to facilitate a deal. Now, that's one of the things. It's, it takes two to tango, right? I mean, the Giants, might have Dable. They might want him. They might want this, blah, blah, blah. But, Stafford might look at the Giants and he's like, that's a joke of an organization, They won 3 games last year. If I come there, how many games are we gonna make the playoffs? Am I going to be, am I going to get annihilated if every time I drop back to throw a pass? If he looks 2 years ago, they gave up 85 sacks in the season. It's like, is that someplace I want to go to? They started 10 different offensive lines last year because everybody keeps getting injured. Is that where I want to go to? So the answer might be no. You might want to go someplace else, and I wouldn't blame them. Let's see. The crown jewel of the Giants offseason may instead lie on the trade block. The Rams have given quarterback Matthew Stafford permission to seek a trade. This is more so to establish a market for the quarterback and give Los Angeles an out should negotiations stall out, but a trade remains possible. New York should come calling, but other teams would love the fringe Hall of Fame quarterback services too. However, the Giants' struggles reveal their standing among Stafford's trade suitors. The Rams, right? The Rams remain both the likeliest and best option for Stafford's short-term future. He led Los Angeles within a possession of the NFC Championship game. He has elite head coach Sean McVay calling the shots and can enjoy the services of receiver Puka Nacua and running backs Kyren Williams. Stafford's quarterback's a good team with legitimate Super Bowl hopes. The only thing getting in the way is potential hangups over the next deal. They can reasonably get an extension done, they will, and Stafford will compete for the playoffs as he approaches retirement. Next would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, what do the Pittsburgh Steelers do? They just win, baby. Now, obviously, they don't win in the playoffs, which is not good, but they're always in the playoffs. Why? Because they always have winning records. So that's something the Giants can't say. So if the Giants aren't first in the line for Stafford, the Steelers might be. Desperately looking for a path out of quarterback purgatory. Stafford can take a team locked in mediocrity and make them competitive in a stacked AFC. Yes, absolutely. The weaponry at his disposal is worse than what New York can offer, but with a strong offensive line and defense, along with the well-respected head coach Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh has plenty of pull. Steelers could also offer number 21 when the Giants would hesitate to include number 3. They're not going to include number 3. That would just be crazy. Also, the New York Jets. Jets are fairly similar to their cross-stadium counterparts. They need a quarterback, don't have the recent success to demand respect, and are facing a ton of pressure with head coach Aaron Glenn, hoping to get off to a fast start rather than a Brian Daboll looking to save his job. The biggest difference between the two East Rutherford landing spots is the talent waiting for him in the Jets locker room. Receiver Garrett Wilson, running back Breece Hall, a couple of defensive all-pros, a left tackle is Olaf Fashanu is quite the cost, although it obviously didn't work out in 2024. Anyway, the Giants. Malik Neighbors, that's the pitch. New York can offer a superstar receiver along with some ancillary pieces on the offensive line with running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. It's not the prettiest landing spot. It's not the best chance to win a Super Bowl, at least not next year. And it's not even the safest long-term situation given the jobs are on the line. But the Giants could offer him the extension he wants. The soft factors of playing in New York and the chance to play with one of the game's rising stars. The defense takes a leap in 2025. Perhaps that might land him another shot at taking down the Eagles. Then, of course, the last team would be the Raiders, right? The Raiders are going to hype because of owner Tom Brady and head coach Pete Carroll. Let's not forget about Pete Carroll. It's closer to Los Angeles than the rest of his suitors and tight end Brock Bowers, right? He's arguably the best tight end in football after just a single season. Basically, everything else is a concern. The run game was cataclysmic in 2024. The defense struggled. There's little upside at receiver, and the draft capital a Stafford trade would demand puts a dent on high-level reinforcements. There's little reason for Stafford to try and compete with the elite quarterbacks and head coaches that continue to make the Raiders fodder for their own playoff runs. So I mean, the Giants obviously got a chance, once again, it's all, just speculation right now. Like I said, the Rams are quite possibly, using this as just, let's see what what you might get on the open market or what we can get for you. We'll talk from there, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Giants obviously have some things, I got Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Malik Neighbors. Now, we're going to need another wide receiver. We can't really throw Jalen Hyatt out there and get them all excited. He ain't going to get all warm and fuzzy about listening about Jalen Hyatt. So we do need another wide receiver. Now, we can certainly grab one. I'm sure we can pick up a good one in the second round or the third round if they're going to do that. Right? We'll have to wait and see. But the Giants are definitely going to need, some more weapons. That's a darn sure, right? Theo Johnson was seeming to come on, right? Obviously, as a good tight end, of course. Then once again, he got injured. Let's see how it is. There you go. So, but I mean, the Giants are definitely going to need. It takes two to tango. Just because you want Stafford does not mean he's going to want to come here, right? I mean, if you can say, we got Malik Neighbors, we got Wanda Robinson, we got this guy, we got this guy, we got this guy. A lot of guys to throw the football to. He might play. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. So All right, now, speaking of quarterbacks, I seen this, and this just seems just straight up silly. But an idiot like me, of course, I read the article, and let's talk about Kyler Murray, right? Could the Cardinals make Murray available? Well, probably. Usually, I mean, if you read this article, the answer is kind of like no, but it kind of makes you wonder how long, you know, things will go on in the Cardinal land. If things don't change, I mean, is he the guy? Murray to take him to the promised land. I mean, he certainly has a nice skill set. From time to time, he has some nice games from time to time, right? I mean, if you look over there, bam. Let's see here. Yeah, we look at his stats here, right? Yeah, I mean, in his 6 seasons, right? Now, he's missed a little bit of time, not a lot, but he's played 6 seasons, right? 67% completion percentage. Yeah, he has 19,000, almost 500 yards passing, 2-to-1 touchdown, 115 touchdowns, 57 interceptions. And I think I read in the article he averaged about 500 yards a season rushing. I'll take that. The thing is, though, right? Yeah, he's only had one winning season. His first season, it was 5-10 and 1. My bad. Then he was 8-8. Then he was 9-5. Then he was 3-8. This is his starting record, right? Then he was 3-5, and last season he was 8-9. Right? Yeah, just a bunch of some nice numbers. But a lot of just mediocrity. Just kind of very mediocre. Is that something the Cardinals are going to, try to live on with forever? Right? It's going to next 10 years. We got Kyler Murray there. Well, once again, it's what have you done for me lately? Right? Now, unlike with Daniel Jones, right? One thing you can always say with Daniel Jones is the players Daniel Jones, for the most part, right, to throw to, he's not had top weapons. He's had top weapon in the backfield, the guy behind him, number 26, who of course isn't there anymore. But then again, neither is Daniel Jones, right? But as far as throwing the ball to studs, to throwing the ball to future Hall of Famers, Daniel Jones didn't have that. Kyler Murray did that. Kyler Murray had that. I mean, it was almost like the Cardinals made sure almost every year Kyler Murray had at least one stud, if not 2, to throw the ball to. If Kyler Murray came over here with the Giants behind the Giants' offensive line and the weapons he had to throw to, his numbers wouldn't be what they are, right? So we're looking 2019, right? I mean, he had, let's say, Christian Kirk, decent wide receiver, but of course he had Larry Fitzgerald. Guy's pretty good. Guy's going to go in the Hall of Fame, right? All right, so that was 2019. 2020. Who do you have? Which Hall of Famer did he have to throw the ball to here? Oh, my bad. He had 2 Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers. He had D-Hop. I believe D-Hop would probably be a Hall of Famer sometime, right? He had 115 catches. Of course, he threw the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, too. And, of course, he had Christian Kirk, Captain Kirk, right? And he had also Kenyon Drake, too, because it was the running back, who had almost 1,000 yards rushing. But so he had 2 future Hall of Famers, right, to throw the football to, right, in 2020. So, they always made sure, and Kirk was a good wide receiver as well, too. So they always made sure in for the Cardinals, always made sure Murray had somebody to throw the football to. It was like, oh, we need a number one. We don't got a number one wide receiver from. No, yes, you do. Oh, yeah. So let's go to 2021. Who's he throwing the ball to in 2021? Whoops. Oh, how about A.J. Green? Now, of course, A.J. Green is a little past his prime. He was 33 at the time. That Zach Ertz, right? Christian Kirk, Captain Kirk, once again, who had 77 catches, 982 yards, right? DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green, okay? At two, pretty much. I mean, obviously, A.J. Green was 33. He was getting up there. I get it. But, yeah, Hopkins, right? Ertz, Captain Kirk, right? So it always has somebody to throw the football to. 2022, Kyler Murray. What do we got here? Once again, you got Hertz. Rental car Hertz. Ertz. A.J. Green, Marquise Brown. Right? Let's see. Nothing super duper spectacular. But, once again, A.J. Green. Once again, A.J. was certainly past his prime. Right? All right. But back in the day, obviously, A.J. Green was somebody really fantastic. His pass, let's see here. What do we got here? 2023 had James Conner running the ball, Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore, and Michael Wilson. Trey McBride was there. Trey McBride, their tight end, he had 81 catches. Right. But the thing is, my thing is, once again, is that with, Kyler Murray, they always try to make, especially early on, they always try to make sure he had somebody really good to throw the football to. Giants didn't really hook up Daniel Jones with that aspect, right? The Cardinals always made sure Kyler Murray had somebody to throw the football to. I'm saying, but the thing is, Kyler Murray just, mediocre, very, not so much his numbers, but I mean, the Cardinals have never, taken the world by storm. So we got here. It's well known that the Giants entered the offseason with the biggest question mark coming at the quarterback position. Many expect them to address the issue in the 2025 NFL Draft, although General Manager Joe Schoen has not ruled out trading for a veteran quarterback. And one thing would be if you were to trade for Murray, I mean, the dude is, we're not talking 37-year-old Stafford. We're not talking 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, right? We're talking, Murray. Still, he's turning 28 this summer. He's just a baby, right? With significant quarterback movement expected this offseason, the Giants have been linked to just about everyone who may become available. Fittingly, the 33rd team recently listed 5 surprise players who could be traded this offseason. The list not only included Arizona Cardinals veteran quarterback Kyler Murray, but it also mentioned the Giants as a potential destination. All right, so Kyler Murray would be considered more surprising than Stafford and Geno Smith. Arizona has shown no inclination to move Murray, but the timing of a trade now makes sense. Turning 28 this summer and a season removed from a torn ACL, Murray remains a physically intriguing player who doesn't affect winning in a significant way. He completed 68.8% of his passes, 3,851 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, and had almost a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio for his career. Being a dual threat helps Murray with more value. He's averaging more than 500 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground each season. Arizona still has Murray on its books for another 4 years and $29.9 million guaranteed, but he'll be angling for more soon. That looming new deal to get more guaranteed dollars is what could trigger an early trade. Does Arizona want to make Murray more than the 10th highest paid quarterback as he is now? If not, then calling the Jets, Giants, or Raiders could be the fastest way to sell high on Murray and help this regime revamp with a rookie in 2025 and 2026. Unlike most of the veteran quarterbacks New York has been linked to, the 28-year-old Murray would provide them with a long-term solution at the position. However, with Murray being much younger, the Cardinals quarterback would likely warrant a much bigger return, likely the third overall pick and much, much more. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm giving him third overall pick. First rounder, but I don't know about the third overall pick for Murray. But unlike the options of Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, or any other older veteran, a trade for the younger Murray would undoubtedly take the Giants out of the quarterback market entirely. Although it is unlikely that Murray is available, Shane would be wise to at least explore the option and maybe put in a feeler call. Stranger things have happened, which is true. Yeah. But, once again, stranger things happen. You never know. It doesn't. I guess if you call, the worst they can say is no. Right. The thing is, as I said once with Murray, just a few things, right? He's going to be 28. So if he's going to be a quarterback, you're going to have for a long time to come. Right? Be fantastic. It's just that he's put up some very good numbers. He's usually had some good quality players to throw the ball to. Right, especially early on, they always made sure they had like a future Hall of Famer for him to throw the ball to. Always had somebody, right? But unlike, and it could be coaching, could be some of the other players, could be a poor defense, could be a lot of things. But 6 seasons, his best season was 9-5. 6 seasons, he's only had, as far as a starting quarterback, he's only had 1 season in 6 where he's had a winning record. So. All right, now this one here, next one here is funny. Well, kind of in a way. I'd be happy if I was him. Boy, I'll tell you what. Apparently, because looks like Shane's going to be taking the hit at the combine, right? I'm sure. Dave's isn't pissed off one bit, one iota about this. Yeah. Oh, I don't get to talk to the moron reporter. No, darn shucks. Also, because he doesn't want to, be maybe tipping his hand, right? Well, did you see the way Dable answered that one question? We talked about quarterbacks, and as soon as we said quarterbacks, eyes opened up like, oh, maybe they're thinking about drafting. So Shane will be doing the answering. Now, if you look, there is it's like a schedule at the combine, and almost every team will have their GM and their coach speak. The Giants. Let's see here. Yeah, here I got to expand. Can I get? Is it? Oh. I guess that's not. Oh, here we go. All right, let's see now here. All right, let's see. Well, as of right now, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Dolphins. Oh, wait, let's see here. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Cowboys will not have their GMs speak. The Packers, the Chargers, the Giants, the Steelers, the 49ers won't have their coaches speak as of right now. Now, maybe things might change or something like that. Or other than that, every other team is going to have their GM and their coach speak at the combine. Now, they all have, there's different podiums that they speak at. Right? There's the GM podium where GM speak. Then there's a head coach podium like Arizona. Okay. They're going to talk Tuesday, the 25th, Monty Ossenford. The GM is going to talk Tuesday, the 25th at 1:15 General Mountain Time at podium number 6. Jonathan Gannon, their head coach, is going to talk the 25th at 3:45 p.m. at head coach podium number 5. So apparently there's GM podiums, then there's head coach podiums, right? But Arizona, Atlanta, Baltimore, there's a bunch of, most of the teams are going to have their general manager and their head coach speak. Okay. But the Giants will not. Joe Shane is going to speak Tuesday. So we'll get to hear something about that. That'll be pretty cool. He's going to speak at 10 o'clock in the morning at GM Podium, the general manager podium number 4, whatever that is, wherever that's at, who knows. But so he's going to speak early. So that's a pretty cool thing. So, him speaking, well, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, but that's out there. So it's probably close to like 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock here. So we should get some type of news, some kind of information on Joe Shane speaking Tuesday. So not tomorrow, right? Oh, I'm sorry. No, it is tomorrow. It's right now. It's Monday, right? So literally tomorrow, Tuesday, Joe Shane will be speaking at 10 o'clock General Mountain Time, right? So hopefully early afternoon we'll get some information on what Joe Shane had to say. But if he was speaking Tuesday, then quite possibly that would have meant that Dable would have been talking Tuesday as well, too, quite possibly. But Dave's won't be speaking, and I'm sure he's a happy. I'm sure he went over and gave Joe Shane a big hug. Love you, man. I don't want to talk to those idiots. Thank you. Right? I wouldn't want to talk to them either. And I understand it's been doom and gloom, but it's all it is just doom and gloom, just answering the questions of those guys. But a lot of it also seems to quite possibly be maybe not tipping, giving any clues or any indications which way you might want to go, right? Especially when they ask you questions about quarterbacks, right? So the 2025 NFL Combine will take place in Indianapolis, Indiana next week, and the football world will have all eyes drawn on the events. Absolutely. All 32 teams will be heavily represented as they get an up-close look at many of this year's draft-eligible players. Select NFL head coaches and general managers will be available to the media on Tuesday and Wednesday. Giants general manager Joe Shane will be available on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Let's see. Head coach Brian Dable is not scheduled to participate in the media sessions. This could be a very simple one team, one voice front put up by the Giants, who have taken a veritable beating in the media after a rough year both on and off the field. Or it could be the Giants are simply playing things close to the vest and don't want to tip their hand. By limiting their exposure to the idiots, there are fewer chances for any kind of mixed messages or mix-ups, right? Until the annual league meeting in late March, that is, where John Mara usually addresses the media. So unfortunately, John Mara in late March, in about a month from now, will be addressing the media. But yeah, so it's quite a possibility that they just don't want to tip their hand, right? Because I say, it's amazing. You one word spoken this way, or one hand gesture, or one facial expression, or something, whatever, and they just off and running. Oh, we asked them that question. They're taking Shedeur Sanders. Oh yeah, yep. It's a given, right? So that's quite possible. Just Joe Shane just keeping everything close to the vest and just. Because, the Giants can go, a lot of different ways. Obviously, there's 2 guys who will be taken before him. Now, we obviously have no idea who it's going to be. But, the Giants can go many ways, right? If Hunter's there, right, you can take the wide receiver, cornerback. There's a wide receiver the Giants can take. There's a defensive lineman they can take. There's Carter, the edge rusher they can take. There's some good offensive linemen the Giants could take. Obviously, there's quarterbacks the Giants could take. There's the run. That would be just, I think, that. Oh, whoa! It would be pretty exciting, but I think I think the Giants should just, I don't know. Shane and Dable should just turn their pink slip in if they draft that running back from Boise State. It looks pretty good, but they drafted a running back at pick number 3. That would be pretty crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of ways the Giants can go, without question. A lot of ways the Giants can go. All right, now talking about, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Now talking about the way the Giants, you know, if they're not bringing Pinnock back, right? You know, we're going to need somebody back there. Now, I mean, unless they're in love with Javarius Owens or maybe Belton or something like that, I don't really know. But you know, they got Newman, right? They got Mr. Newman, but you know, the Giants definitely going to need to partake in the safety pool, whether it's free agent or draft. There's a couple nice ones in the draft, that's for sure. Especially there's one in the first round, right? But once again, Shane and Dable should just turn their pink slips in if they draft the safety with number 3 overall, right? Yeah, I don't think the guy's Troy Polamalu or nothing like that. But you know, the Giants don't wind up going after Pinnock, right? It seemed like he maybe was not used. Because obviously you had Wink Martindale and you got Bowen, right? You got the 2 different, you know, coordinators, the 2 different, you know, ways they have guys play out in their different schemes and all and everything. And Pinnock, it was almost kind of like a Karake kind of thing, right? I mean, a Karake had 300 tackles the year before with Wink. This year it was kind of like, you know, he had some tackles, but it was nowhere near as much as what he had with Wink. Same thing with Pinnock. Pinnock seemed to be he got more results with Wink than he did with Bowen. So it seems like, I'm not sure, was Bowen really putting all his players in the best position to be successful? Don't know. But so the best New York Giants free agent options at safety. So will the Giants look to the NFL draft or free agency to address their need at safety this NFL offseason? It can be interesting. The New York Giants safety room snap count in 2024 was taken up almost entirely by basically 3 guys, right? Pinnock, Newman, and Belton. Pinnock is a pending unrestricted free agent who, although matching his total tackles to his 2023 amount of 85, had something of a down year as he struggled with adjusting to defensive coordinator Shane Bowen's scheme. Now, once again, sometimes, you know, things like that happen. Sometimes, right, you get the second season, you guys are a little more familiar with the scheme, right? Knows what's more expected of him. Maybe it could be also could be the combo package, right? Right? You got a player who, with a new scheme, doesn't quite, you know, gel yet, you know, but maybe the second season becomes more familiar, understands the concepts better, what's they demand upon him, right? But also goes both ways. It's kind of like Bowen. Well, it's like, you know, we didn't quite get as much as we want out of him. Maybe let me do a little bit of adjusting, right? So maybe get this guy more involved, right? But there's a good chance that Pinnock won't be back, right? Pinnock was especially vulnerable in deep zone coverage. Although he was fundamentally sound, his lack of movement skills and instincts were brutally exposed. Pinnock wasn't deployed as much as a blitzer, which is his strength of his. And this disconnect between how Bowen deployed him and how he was deployed in the more aggressive Wink Martindale scheme likely means the 2 sides are headed for a split. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, it's like, yeah, the guy was decent with Wink, but it's like he didn't do that great with Bowen, and it's like, we just can't use you anymore. It's like, well, yeah. Then the thing is, it's like, well, what happens if after this season we wind up stinking and they get rid of everybody, and then now we don't have the coach, and now we don't have Pinnock, and we don't, who proved that he could be good. Oh my God. Let's see. Newman looked strong in his rookie season, more so because of his physicality than his coverage skills. He was constantly tough and fast to the ball, tackled hard, and turned into a big physical type who could fill holes and stop running backs dead in their tracks. If he can improve his coverage, where before his season-ending ankle injury, he had just one pass breakup and 0 interceptions, the Giants will have something there. Belton is a reliable run defender who has had his fair share of struggles in coverage. He's likely a better third safety than the starter option, as he has had difficulties in coverage against tight ends despite reacting well in the deep zone. Belton's tackling and physicality seemed to improve the more he played, and this year, a contract year, will be a big one for him to show that he can overcome a lack of foot speed and agility, which has kept him from becoming a starter. In short, yes, the Giants can use new faces at this spot. So now they go the best options. Now, once again, this is in free agency. It's interesting how the Giants don't want to spend on Xavier McKinney last year. But this year, given how thin the safety draft class is, they might have to open up the wallet to get a good safety, a position that isn't a premium position in the defense, but yet appears to be a need. Javon Holland from the Dolphins. For most of his young NFL career, Holland has been one of the best safeties, and while there is a slight dip in his production in 2024, that isn't a huge concern. There is a question as to whether the Dolphins plan to tag Holland now, who is arguably the best safety about to hit the market and who, per Spot Track, has a projected market of $15 million annually. Early indications are that the Dolphins don't plan to tag Holland, who would cost Miami $19.6 million on the franchise tag. That's expensive. And Julian Blackmon of the Colts. The other safety I would target in free agency would be Julian Blackmon from the Colts. He has an estimated market value of $8 million per season. 3 years, $24 million. Blackmon was named one of the 11 best safeties before the start of the 2024 season by Doug Farrar of USA Today's Touchdown Wire, who ranked the Colts safety 10th on his list. Before 2024, Blackmon had dealt with injuries that had kept him from playing a full season. Now, that's one of those things is that, Giants have had problems with injuries. I'm not sure if the Giants want to bring in somebody, even if he's kind of on the cheap, who's had some problems with injuries. That's the last thing the Giants want to do is bring somebody who's had, injury problems, right? Now we got draft, the guys in the draft. While I'm not a huge fan of the safety class in this year's draft, some options could compete for early playtime. Billy Bowman, Jr. of Oklahoma. Bowman is a prospect I connect to the Giants due to his ability to play deep safety, allowing Newman to play a more versatile role in defense. Bowman has a solid football IQ and makes it a point to be around the ball as much as possible, mainly when it is in the air. Hunter Wohler of Wisconsin. Wohler's skill set would make him better suited to line up wherever he is needed, allowing the Giants to experiment with more disguised coverages. Wohler finished as the Badgers' team leader in tackles last season, earning honorable mention All Big Ten. He is more comfortable coming into the box and banging around against running backs and tight ends. And there's also here, right? Did it say the line back up here? Well, all right, here we go. All right, see, position safeties. Now, there's a guy from Georgia, Starks, right? He's supposed to be really, really good, Starks. Now, PFF has Starks as the 6th highest ranked player, period, coming out in the draft. 6th. He's a safety. So, yeah, it's pretty good, but The Giants draft that running back from Boise State. They draft Starks with a safety with number. I don't know. I don't know. Just sell the franchise, right? So that's not going to happen. But right, there's Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. Let's see. Then there's Castro from Iowa. There's Winston Jr. from Penn State. Oh, this guy here is supposed to be really, really good. Amanawari from South Carolina. And then there's Ransom from Ohio State. So that, and then Mukuba from Texas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This PFF has 7 guys in the top 101 of their top ranked guys coming out in the draft. 7 are safeties, right? But Starks is the only one in the first round, given that he's number 6 overall. Xavier Watts graded out of 89.7 last year. He was a 6th best graded safety from Notre Dame. They got him number 42, which means put him at a 2nd round grade on him, I guess, right? So there's a safety in the first round, right? There's Watts would be a 2nd round. Then there's, I said, 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 or 5 guys, right? Possibly the Giants could maybe want to take in the 3rd round if they were going to go with the safety. But the Giants, regardless, definitely. I mean, you can't go with Javarius Owens, right? Belton. I know they have. Then another guy, I can't remember his name, was on the practice squad. And Nubin. And lose Pinnock. You have to definitely bring somebody in. No question. They'll be bringing guys in, right? But whether it's somebody in off the streets or if they're hitting it heavy, in the draft. Look what they did, right? Landon Collins, 2nd round pick. Xavier McKinney, 2nd round pick. Tyler Nubin, 2nd round pick. So, what was it? Right, Collins, right? 2015, right? 2nd round pick. So he's figuring in the last 10 drafts, right? Going back to 2015 to 2024, those 10 drafts, the Giants in the 2nd round have taken a safety 3 times, and everyone's been fantastic. Now, it's just, once again, it's just mind-boggling, right? That if the Giants were to go out and, in free agency and spend some money on what was it? Was it Holland? Is that who was? Let me see. Was it Holland? Yeah, because they're going to bring in Julian Blackman from the Colts, who has injury history. But yeah, Holland. Yeah. So it would just be a little mind-boggling if the Giants were going to go out in free agency and bring in Holland, the safety. Okay, well, if they're going to pay him $15 million, why don't we just keep Xavier McKinney for $17 million? Xavier McKinney, I think, was still 24 years old. He's just a baby. So it's just things like that. Just, I don't know. Just drive you freaking bananas. But but the Giants, regardless, are definitely going to have to. We got a lot of needs, a lot of holes, a lot of needs, but safety, of course, is one of them. So, but the Giants have done well in this, as I said, in this past. The thing is, right, of course, is that the 3 guys that got taken, right, the 3 safeties that got taken in the 2nd round, right, in 2015, and then McKinney and all of that, they're all by different GMs. You got Reese, right, took Collins, right, Gettleman, right, took McKinney, and then you got Shane, took Nubin. So, regardless of that, the Giants have had success taking safeties in the 2nd round. So, but that's if they don't bring Pinnock back, that's certainly one of the positions that they're going to need to do is either in free agency or in the draft. That's for sure. All right, and then There we go. And with this here, where did the Giants get their best draft value from the 2024 draft class? Well, I mean, it was pretty well spread out. I mean, because you look at where did they get their best value at? Well, I mean, pretty much it was like, to me, pretty much spread out across the board, right? I mean, you're taking somebody, right, pick 6 and number 1. Well, you want to get some good value out of that. Well, they absolutely did. Absolutely did. Knocked it out of the park with Malik Neighbors. Now, the thing is that, these guys also got to start staying. It's only been 1 year. I get it. But, you want to get a lot of, value and all. You guys got to start staying healthy, right? But so where did the Giants get their best value among its 2024 rookie class, draft rookie class, right? Because actually it's not the draft class because they got Chapman in there, right? So Giants had one of the best drafts in 2024 with each member contributing. Let's examine the value provided. Now, as I said, the Giants now once again can, knock it out of the park once again because we have more picks this year too. Right? We got a first, a second, a third, and 2 fourths. We should have 2 fourths. So, right. So if we can knock it out of the park with those 5 guys, man, that would be fantastic. Really great. Giants had one of the most successful drafts last year. The team received solid production from all 6 picks, who are now part of the franchise foundation moving forward. Led by Malik Neighbors and running back Tyler Nubin, only the 3rd pair of rookie teammates to eclipse 1,000 all-purpose yards apiece. The entire class received stellar grades from Pro Football Focus and its year-end review of all 32 draft classes from last year. Let's break it down. All right. Malik Neighbors, the 6th overall pick, came as advertised, showing big play potential and the kind of explosiveness the Giants haven't had in the receiving game for a while. 21-year-old wide receiver who received a 87 grade enjoyed an overall outstanding inaugural NFL season, setting a new franchise record for receptions and receptions by a rookie with 109 while recording 1,204 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns and 882 offensive snaps. His 9 drops need to be cleaned up moving forward. You can almost, those drops. The one he had against the Commanders in Washington. We're moving. Of course, we didn't have a freaking kicker, but it's wide open. Ball hits him right here. He drops the freaking ball. Right, he should have caught it. 99 times out of 100 would have caught it. This was the one time he didn't. Right, he falls out of bounds. Stop the clock. Of course, the Giants probably would have had a kick. Probably would have had to score a touchdown because I don't know if they were going to let the hammer out there trying to kick a field goal. Maybe, but who knows? But Malik Neighbors was right around like the 10, 11-yard line, right? Would have gave us a first down, kept right? And possibly we could have scored a touchdown, won the game. So you never overlook a drop pass, but because you never know. Drop the pass. Well, would that have given us a first down? Yeah, would that have kept the drive alive? Could we have marched down the field, chewed up some clock, maybe kicked a field goal, maybe scored a touchdown, but you dropped the pass, you killed the drive. Right? You dropped the pass, the defense just came off the field. Now they're tired. Now they got to go back on the field because you dropped the pass. It's coming right at you. It's like 3D, right? But if you kept if you caught the ball, we kept the offense on the field, kept the defense on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid, right? Getting all nice and toasty and warm and all rested up and everything. So when they had to go back on the field, maybe they could have stopped the other team's offense. Right? A lot of things to think about, right? Neighbors, who was a frequent NFL Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week nominee, a Pro Bowler, and the 5th runner-up for the Offensive Rookie of the Year honors, can assert himself as one of the top players at his position in no time. Absolutely. Then they talk about Andrew Phillips in the 3rd round. Shane found good value in the 3rd round of the draft, scooping up Andrew Phillips, who finished with a 78.5 grade, 3rd among rookie cornerbacks. Phillips gave defensive coordinator Shane Bowen 614 snaps, most of those in the slot, and he excelled against the run while holding his own in pass coverage. Once again, he needs to stay healthy. He totaled 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, 1 sack, 71 combined tackles, 7 tackles for loss in 14 games. So I missed 3. But Phillips is a stalwart presence to pair with a lockdown coverage corner going forward. Absolutely. Absolutely. Phillips' impact was fully displayed each week, but the squad's spotty defense made it hard to appreciate what this unsung Giants hero provided. Then they talk about Tyler Nubin. Nubin, the Giants' second-round draft pick and the 2023 All-American, while at Minnesota, falls right in the middle of his position group. His 65.6 grade ranked him 6th among 12 rookie safeties during the 2024 campaign. He was the Giants' second leading tackler with 98 total, and of course, he missed some games at the end of the season, or he might have led the team in tackles. Behind team leader Micah McFadden, who also recorded 4 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, a fumble recovery. Nubin is another contributor who can make a difference in the run defense and help New York's secondary become a more well-rounded and dependable unit in the future. A season-ending ankle injury denied him a chance of racking up more production this past season, but the former Golden Gopher star could be poised for a standout sophomore year in the NFL. And of course, we're talking about Tyrone Tracy. Now, we're not talking, he's not, Barry Sanders or this or that and like that, but, for what our offense is and the offensive line we had and all of that, the guy got well over 1,000 yards all purpose, and he didn't even start all the games. 5th round pick, you got to give the guy some credit. And the guy, if you give him a hole or so, we've seen him take a few long runs to the house, right? Tyrone Tracy's 58.4 grade seems kind of low, as does his ranking 8th out of 10 running backs in the draft. But that could be due to Tracy not getting the running back role number 1 until 5 weeks into the season. When he did get that, Tyrone Tracy delivered. Giants' 5th round pick out of Purdue and Iowa accrued 839 rushing yards, 4.4 yards per carry, scored 5 touchdowns, added 38 receptions for 284 yards and another score. Tracy surprisingly graded lower than teammate Devin Singletary and Ezekiel Elliott, who averaged less than 4 yards per rushing attempt compared to Tracy's 4.4 yards. I don't know how possible he can grade worse than Ezekiel Elliott. As was probably the case with Tracy in the draft, it seems people were sleeping on Tracy as a viable run game option. It's too soon to say if Tracy will blossom into a workhorse or even a Pro Bowl running back. But with the position having made a comeback this past year, he should, at the very least, be in line for an increased opportunities in 2025, where he can solidify his place as a key component of the Giants' backfield for the next few seasons. And, of course, then there's the rest. It was a very good draft class. The praise for the Giants rookie class wasn't just limited to the draft picks. Interior offensive lineman Jake Kubas, right, who went undrafted but made the 53-man roster, earned a 60.3 grade with 197 snaps. Yeah, it's just some good, decent, depth. Right? Kubas. Fellow undrafted free agent defensive end Elijah Chapman. Yes. Showed some promise. He had 423 rotational snaps, finished with the 58.9 grade. Some good depth. Right? 6th-round pick Darius Mirasow pressed into 435 snaps at inside linebacker, thanks to injuries at the position, received the 56.8 mark. Just some good depth, right? Also, seeing quite a bit on special teams as well, too. 4th-round pick Theo Johnson, the promising young tight end, whose season was cut short due to a foot injury after 681 snaps, finished with a 53.5 grade. Shane and the rest of the decision makers are under pressure to deliver an encore for the 2025 class as the Giants look to climb out of the cellar and back into relevance. That would be obviously one of the biggest things, right? That would help Shane out big time, right? would be another real good solid draft class. Now you figure, right? What he did with the first 5 picks, right? You figure, with Malik Neighbors, right? With Newman, with Phillips, with Johnson, with Tracy, right? And for his first 5 picks, right? Well, should have a first this year, a second, a third, and 2 fourths, right? So once again, if you can those top 5 picks, right? If they can be what I mean, starters. The only one wasn't a starter was Murasow. Basically, he was when there was some injuries, right? But I mean, right? Tracy, 5th round pick, right? After 4 or 5 games, he became the running back number 1, right? Theo Johnson, I think, who's the starter from week 1. Now you don't know would he have been the starter if Waller didn't retire. Don't know, but from week 1, Theo Johnson, starter, right? A 3rd round pick, Andrew Phillips, plug and play, right? Tyler Newman, plug and play, safety, right? Of course, Malik Neighbors, right? So, I mean, right? First 5 picks, all starters, right? If you can do the same thing again this year, that'd be absolutely fantastic, especially because especially the 3rd round, the 4th round, the 3rd, so important to hit on those picks because you always need, even if they aren't starters, you need depth, quality depth, but you need cheap, right? Because you can't have everybody on the roster making $10 million, right? Just can't do it. So, all right, guys, been 1 hour and 46 minutes. Vinny G, man, as always, brother, good talking to you. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I greatly appreciate it. So, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of our means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.